There's one thing that I have discovered that just drives narcissists absolutely positively crazy, and that is when you just go no contact with these people. You know, they call that gray rock, right? So you just avoid them, stay away from them, don't acknowledge them as far as you're concerned. They are invisible? No, they're not even there. They never were there. And yeah, I know you can't always take that position with a narcissist because, well, you might be related to them. They might live in your house. You may have to go to work with them, but when possible, the one of the most effective ways of managing narcissistic abuse is to get as far away from the narcissist as you possibly can. Now, that's based on what? Have I done some research on this? Well, in a sense, my life is a laboratory. You know, I'm pushing 70 years old, so I've got nearly 7 decades of experience, just life experience in general. And a lot of that, unfortunately, many of those years were dealing with covert narcissists. And I've learned some really difficult lessons, and one of those is the best thing to do with a narcissist, if you really want to put them in their place and drive them crazy if you have to, is just stay away from them. Now, by the way, I got to say this. I'm really not trying to drive the narcissist crazy. I'm not trying to hurt the narcissist. What I'm trying to do is protect myself and protect my family and protect others. So the objective in my mind is always to play defense. I'm never trying to attack a narcissist. There's somebody else doing that anyhow, so why even bother? Why put yourself to that trouble? So it's totally 100%, in my thinking, a defensive move. Well, why does it drive them crazy? Well, number one, probably the most important is they are losing your supply. Now, by supply, you know what that means. It means anything that boosts the ego of the narcissist. So you were there in the narcissist's life by his design or her design to boost their ego. That's why you exist, as far as they're concerned. That's why they have a relationship with you. It could be a friendship, it could be a love interest, whatever it is, you know, working relationship, but it's there just so that you can feed and boost their ego. Well, that's gone. That drives them nuts because, well, they have this dependency on the ego boosting. You know, it's like a chemical dependency. They got to have it. And if they don't have it, they go into withdrawal. So, yeah, it just drives them crazy. Now, number two is kind of just the opposite, or I should say not the opposite, but it's more extreme of the same thing. And that is it not only cuts off their supply, but it actually drains their ego. So think of it, you know, like a gas tank. You're putting fuel in the gas tank, that's supply. But what if the gas tank has a leak? And you're taking gas out of the gas tank. It's just totally reversed, right? So when you go no contact rather with a narcissist, what you are doing is you are draining their supply. You're not only you're defeating their ego, you're depleting their ego. You're not boosting their ego, you're making it smaller. You're letting air out of the tire, air out of the balloon, gas out of the gas tank, whatever analogy you want to use. And they absolutely positively hate that because, again, they have that dependency. Well, number three is this. One thing narcissists must do is they got to control everyone all the time, at least in their mind. It has to be all about their control. Now, I could go on and on about this, but I'm not going to. Suffice it to say that I have known narcissists who would rather hurt themselves than to lose control, or at least feel like they are losing control. I've talked about this in other videos, so I'm not going to talk about it long here, but yeah, I've known narcissists who actually quit their jobs, lost their income, because they didn't want to be told what to do by an employer, by a boss. They had to be in control. It hurt the narcissist immensely, but that's not the way they saw it. What they saw it is protecting their supply, their dependency. So they're perfectly happy being homeless, at least they pretend to be. So number three is when you cut them off, they go crazy because, hey, you just cut off their control. Number four is they actually sometimes feel defeated. Narcissists don't like to lose. They never, never, ever want to lose. They always want to be the winner. Somehow, some way, they've got to feel like the winner. Okay, what we just said? You know, even if it's to their loss, they've got to feel like they're the winner. That's why the guy quit his job. He was actually, I mean, talk about a loser. Good grief, man. You just fired yourself. I mean, how more defeated could you possibly be? The guy lost his wife, lost his family, totally wiped out. But he didn't feel that way. He felt in control. He didn't feel defeated. He felt like he was winning because he felt like he was pulling the strings. He was calling the shots. He wanted to feel like he was in control, even though, quite frankly, well, in a sense he was, but quite frankly, he was being smashed. He was being defeated. But he doesn't want to feel defeated. So when you break off contact, that means you are in control, that you are winning. This is from his perspective or her perspective. You are winning and he is losing, or she is losing. They just don't like that feeling of being defeated. It drives them crazy. Number 5 is sometimes a narcissist will actually feel abandoned. Most of the narcissists that I have known over the years, they have an army of flying monkeys, of agents, narcissists by proxy that surround them. So being totally abandoned, they always have somebody, but they don't like to lose anybody because you are their possession. That's the way narcissists, it seems, the way these covert narcissists seem to think, that they have this sense of entitlement, that they are entitled not only to control you, but everything you own. It's all about them and all about control and about keeping everything that they have. And when you get up and leave and walk away and then make no contact, that's just not conceivable for a narcissist. They hate that. Drives them crazy. They do not want to be abandoned. Now, I think not all narcissists feel that way. At least the narcissists in my life have not felt that way. At least I don't think they did. But I see that in others. All right, number 6 is this. They lose that fantasy enablement. So a narcissist, at least the ones that I have known, they seem to live in a fantasy world. Now, this is more extreme than others, but they have this imaginary world which they create in their mind, in which they are the king or the queen, maybe not literally, but figuratively speaking, the world is their realm, and they're in control. That's the way they like to think of themselves. Now, they may create various different scenarios. You know, we talked about this in other videos, but they may project themselves to others as I've seen cases where they have pretended to be former FBI agents. You know, so that's their way of being a king, or they were a war hero, or maybe they were a outstanding sports star. In their mind, in their fantasy, never actually were, or maybe they were a rock star. I mean, they were really up there. I heard a guy one time say that he was a member of a rock and roll group. I'm not going to tell you the name of it, but because I can't think of it, but he said he was a member of that group, and there was one notable song, and he said that he sang the lead on that song. Guy just flat out lying. I mean, it was so obvious he wasn't telling the truth, but in his mind, that was reality. But that's kind of an extreme example. But yeah, narcissists have this fantasy world in which they are superior, they're supreme, they are the boss, they are the king or queen. They're it, they're royalty. And when you walk away from a narcissist, and when you go gray rock, when you abandon them, when you just go silent, you're saying their fantasy isn't true. I mean, you're just poking a hole in their fantasy. You know, you're saying, hey, you know, I know you're wearing a mask. I know you're wearing stage makeup. I can see that, you're wearing this costume. And it's not the real you. The real you is you're kind of a loser, you know. You're an individual who has never accomplished a whole lot of anything in your life. This is what you're saying to the narcissist by abandoning him or her, by going gray rock, by cutting them off. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear you being honest, because, man, what's going to happen if other people find out? Now, you're going no contact with this guy. Now, by the way, some narcissists will go no contact with you, but, or at least it seems, but what they are doing, and I'm saying this parenthetically, it's not really part of what we're talking about, but the thought comes to mind, but they will go no contact with you, or so it seems. Now, what they do is when they go no contact with you, really what they are doing is they're moving into a different stage of control, a different stage of drawing supply out of you, because what they do is they recruit what a lot of people call flying monkeys. You know, I really don't like that term. It's kind of silly, but these are agents. They are narcissists by proxy. That the narcissist engages in the smear campaign and recruits these people. He convinces them that you're a bad guy. You know, reverses the story where he's the good guy, she's the good guy, you're the bad guy. And these flying monkeys, these narcissists by proxy, spread the word. You know, they're his little evangelists or missionaries, whatever you want to call them. And they're out there convincing, yeah, literally convincing other people that you're the bad guy. You got to be careful, because a lot of people, I mean a lot of people, will believe that nonsense, and you'll find a lot of your good friends all of a sudden hate you because, well, they're believing the gospel of the narcissist. They're believing that flat out lie. But they have this fantasy. They have it established, and you are there to enable that belief system and to prove it true. The fact that they control you proves that they're the king, they're the queen. See those two rectangles on the screen? If you want to keep on talking, just click one of those two rectangles and our conversation will continue. If not, thanks for stopping by, and see y'all next time.